I am so thrilled to welcome Dr. Melissa Beers to join us this morning for this conversation. If you aren't familiar with Missy, she's been a longtime instructor at Ohio State. She most recently has joined the undergraduate education team as the senior director of the Bookend courses for the new GE. But prior to this, she coordinated all of the sections and all of the instruction for Psych 1100, which, as most of you know, nearly every student seems to take that course. So she is well equipped for this task ahead of her and has the enthusiasm and positive attitude that will make her a great partner as we all work through this together. We've prepped her with some questions that we've been hearing from advisors about the GE bookends, but have also asked for her to provide just a general overview. So with that, I will hand things over to you, Missy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And hey, everybody. Oh, good morning. It's good to be here with you. I have to say, I used to think I had the best job on campus. I worked in psychology for years, for 22 years. I directed intro psych for 16, and I loved that job, but I found a new job that's the best job on campus for me. So I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm so excited about our new course. And so I'm here to tell you a little bit about it, to introduce it, to answer any questions that you had, to hear questions that I need to hear from you. But I really want to just start by saying thank you, because I know the load that our advisors carry at this university. I know, especially in the last few years, what you've done to support students. And I just want to say thank you. And anything that I or the GE and Bookends team can do to make things easier for you during this transition, I am committed to do. So our goal is to help and support you so you can help and support our students. So, I hope that we will all have a good working relationship together moving forward, because this is a very exciting time. And it's great to see so many of my friends here today too. So great to be with you. So my plan today is give you an overview of the bookends, to kind of give you a little bit of a flavor for the bookends, to share with you the plans that we have in place, and to help you sort of get a sense of how the bookends, especially launch, is going to differ from the work that you do in survey. So, we've been seeing this, you've been seeing this lovely schematic. I'm sure you've talked about it today. Everybody's seen this. Everyone has a lot of questions about it. And you see these two little bars that almost get, you have to pay attention to those two little bars on the end. We have our launch Buckeye bookend, and we have our reflection Buckeye bookend. So that's a space where we are going to do a lot of work that's going to support students as they move through this, through the GE, through the program, through their experience at Ohio State, to hopefully enrich that experience. And both of these are 1 credit hour courses. The launch seminar is a full semester course that students will take within the first 3 semesters that they're at Ohio State, if they're going to be doing the new GE. And the reflection seminar is something that they will take towards the end as they're approaching the end. There's more variation in when they can take that, but they can take it as they approach the end of their time at Ohio State. And that is also a 1 credit hour, also a SU experience. That is a 7-week course. And so students will have the opportunity to, if they need to take it again, they'll have an opportunity within 1 semester to take it again. But we anticipate, that it's going to be a great experience for students. And we have designed these courses to maximize students' experience here at Ohio State in the GE, so that they can get the most out of their education, and so that they leave us really well prepared and having reflected on the things that they've done while they're with us. So again, the launch seminar in the first 3 semesters, reflection before graduation, 1 credit hour, explicitly designed over multiple years. I think that the design of these classes has been in place for like at least 2.5, 3 years by a committee of wonderful faculty from all over the university and other teaching professionals. We had advisors involved in the scope of the launch seminar. So it's really a beautifully well-designed course. There's a beautiful curriculum in place, and there's a beautiful set of resources in Carmen already ready to go. And that syllabus was approved, so it should be available to you already. Now, it's not intended for students on the legacy GE. I think I heard in an earlier session, I think it was Amy that said, well, it certainly won't hurt students if they take it, but it just isn't designed to support the legacy GE. It's intentionally designed to support students' understanding of the new GE moving forward. It's also very intentionally designed to answer that question that you have heard many, many times, and I have heard as an instructor, why do I have to take this class? We heard that a lot in intro psych, in Psych 1100. We heard that question many times. Why do I have to take this class? And we would try our very best to make sure students understood that from us, but students' experiences vary. And so we are hopeful that this launch seminar will really contextualize and help students really appreciate the value of these experiences in their academic plans and their personal plans for growth. Now, I just want to give you a flavor for the learning objectives of the Bookends. And so being a psychologist, one of the things I know that is so important for learning is metacognition. So helping students to be more aware of their thinking, more aware of their understanding. So the first goal of the launch seminar is to develop an understanding of the purpose and the structure of the GE so that they can understand that basic architecture of the GE. Now, I know you've done this in survey, but this is going to allow them to take a little deeper dive, to do a little bit more of that metacognitive reflection. One of the things I know from psychology is that is critical for learning. A colleague of mine always used to say, we have to give them a tree. We have to give them the tree, the shape and the structure of what we want them to learn. And then the knowledge is like ornaments that they can place on the tree. But if they don't understand the shape of the tree, they may put all of the ornaments just on one branch, right? They may not distribute them in a way that makes sense. So we want to give them that tree so they can see the branches, so they can see the structure, so they'll know as they're moving through where they hang that knowledge. The second piece is to support them in developing academic skills and habits. So that they're prepared to navigate this environment. Because students come in certainly with a wide variety of experiences prior to coming to the university with many different personal characteristics. And so what we want to do is give them sort of a good, strong foundation and a baseline. Part of that is helping them understand using technology, both the technology that they have available to them, through Carmen and other things, but also this e-portfolio that I'm going to tell you about. So understanding this e-portfolio, and also to really critically think about the implications of technology use. So really think about the ethics of technology use, for example. And so we want to think about what is academic integrity, for example, and how do we protect our academic integrity? It's all part of these academic skills and habits. So we'll take a little deeper dive into those topics. And then finally, we'll also help students really think about self-awareness and identity development. So this is something that we kind of always hoped would happen as they move through the university, but we're going to really give them some explicit support for this by having them reflect on their personal goals and their personal identity, and have them really think about, maybe reflect on and articulate. Just start to be able to articulate what they're curious about. What are their motivations for being here at college? And develop a plan, an integrated course plan as they leave launch that lets them think about and plan for questions that they're interested in exploring through this new integrative gen ed experience. So I want to give you a sense of some of the assignments that we have planned in this course. So you can see how we've aligned what students will do with these objectives. And for example, this particular objective helps them to think about the structure and the purpose of the GE. And so we have actually built this beautiful bank of videos with faculty from all over the university here in Columbus, also including all the regional campuses. We're visiting the regional campuses and talking to faculty there as well, having people talk about their disciplines. What does it mean? Personally, again, I come from psychology. most people think psychologists are just clinicians, right? They have a very narrow view of what psychology is. Or we say, take a social science class. What does that mean to take a social science class? What are my options? What is social science, right? So this helping them understand the structure of the new GE. They'll be able to listen to some of these folks who practice in different disciplines, for example, in the foundations, talk about what is their discipline and how does it connect to the bigger picture of the GE. Another example of an assignment that we have that's going to be aligned with that ethical use of information and information technology is we're going to ask students to build a PSA. Create a PSA, a public service announcement on using information ethically. And key objectives for this assignment are to explain the key elements of ethical information use, demonstrating academic integrity, and then presenting that in a variety of different formats that students can be creative with to think about how they would share that information with others. And then finally, the last piece, which aligns with our third goal for launch, is this plan for integrative learning, to let them really think about questions that they're interested in, how they want to progress, what their interests are, and how that can lead them through the GE and their college career. And so at the end of launch, we're hoping that they will have a statement about their academic identity, which will support them in creating a description of what they've learned so far, which may include GE courses that they're taking concurrently or that they've brought with them as transfer credit into the foundations. Description of what they want to learn more about, how they're going to do those things, steps they want to take towards that action, and even thinking about the emotions that come up from them. So again, this is just a bit of reflection and also planning. So I'm just going to take a moment here to just take a moment to see what questions have come up. Are there any questions? I see some things have popped up in the chat. So I'm wondering if I could take a minute to answer questions.
Yep. So the theme of the questions that have come in so far is about the relationship between the survey class that we currently teach and this first bookend course. Some folks are identifying that there may be some redundancy in information. And so I think you had already planned to talk about this, but what do you see as kind of the relationship between these two courses? And is there information that maybe advisors can omit from survey that maybe they've previously spent a lot of time covering, or things that you think might be better suited in the launch seminar that now they can spend time covering a different material in survey?
Thank you for asking, and thanks everyone for asking that question, because I know how hard you all work on survey and that it's a big task and a big lift. So my understanding is that these are going to be complementary experiences. These are complementary experiences. So, they are not designed to duplicate one another, but to support one another. So my understanding of survey is that your time to go to cover any of these things is a little more limited than we will have the opportunity to do in launch. And so it's possible that there may be over time some things that can be offloaded to us to pick up in launch, that we may be able to carry a larger share of some of that information, but it shouldn't be redundant. We are looking at things at a much bigger level, at a much more conceptual level. We're not going to be focusing as much on some of the logistics and details that it's my understanding that can be the focus in survey. And maybe you have like 1 or 2 days to talk about the structure of the GE. We have a whole semester, right? So we're going to be giving students a little bit more support and a little more context than is possible in survey. Does that help?
I think it does. Would it also be useful for me to put that infographic that I created in the chat? So
yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes, I would love that. Thank you very much.
I will share that
about it. And Sarah made a beautiful infographic for us.
Let's see. There was a question, and I think you're going to get to this, about who is going to be teaching the launch seminars.
Yes.
And then let's see. And then there's also questions just about, like, with the planning component, does it include kind of what courses they have remaining in order to complete, and what types of classes are they thinking about in those areas? Yeah.
This is also going to be what we want students to think about are not only the classes that they're going to take, but also other professional and co-curricular kinds of experiences. So we'll be thinking more broadly than just about the classes that are available to them to take. It may be about what's the function of those classes in meeting their goals, but will also be helping them to think about and reflect on other experiences as well. I can answer that. As far as who is going to teach the launch, this I'm very excited about. So we are already working on building a diverse team of professional instructors, so primarily lecturers and senior lecturers here at the university. So what the goal is, or my goal is, to build a diverse team of teaching professionals to teach sections of this class and to be able to, as a function of doing this, bring their expertise into launch to help students see diverse areas within launch, and also then for us to enrich the understanding of instructors across the university about the GE and about what students are experiencing in the GE. So I think that's part of, I'm a big proponent of educational development and supporting instructors, for those of you who know me. And so that's something that I'm really particularly excited about with this GE. Not only the support that we can give to students, but also the support that we're going to be able to offer to enrich the experience of our instructors here at the university.
That seems to have covered most of the questions that have been in the chat. And so I'll pass things back to you to continue on, and then we'll
Thank you.
collect.
Right, we're not anticipating currently that these are going to be clustered in any way by major or program. It's going to be, we sort of want to emphasize that interactional, this is the first time that we've had a class at Ohio State that every single student will take. I think just take a moment and let that sink in. This is a class that every single student at this university will take. And what a great opportunity for us. So again, we're just this is just the very first, this is the birth of the Bookends, right? So we have this vision for it. And over time, we know that it's going to evolve and grow and change. And we're going to use assessment data based on student learning outcomes. And we're going to base feedback from the university community on helping us just continue to hone and shape and refine to maximize the learning experience for students. I'm also a huge proponent of assessment. So that's something that I'm going to be doing a lot of. So, again, I hope that you can see this is something to be really excited about. And we're just on the cusp of a really big change here for this university and for our students. So, that hopefully gives you a flavor for launch and what we're going to be doing with launch. Something else I want to share is this very exciting new idea of an e-portfolio, which is new to Ohio State. It's not new, it's in higher education. Actually, e-portfolios have been around. They're in use at some other larger institutions. They're also, perhaps not at this scale, but they're well known among liberal arts colleges. They're a high impact educational practice. And so it's a really great opportunity for us to be able to support students in using an e-portfolio. So let me tell you a little bit about what an e-portfolio is. It's a tool that we use to demonstrate and reflect on what we learned, and what we are learning, or what we have learned, and how we grow. It's a space that helps us draw connections between different kinds of experiences that we may have: curricular experiences, professional experiences, personal experiences, co-curricular experiences, right? It's a place to encourage reflection. And it's a resource that helps students curate different artifacts or assets that they develop through their educational career, through their learning journey, if you will. And it lets them narrate their own personal academic stories, right? So they can think about the meaning that they derive from these different experiences in meeting their goals. So the portfolio is not, it's not Carmen. Carmen is a place where students are interacting with instructors in their work, that instructors in their work is being evaluated, and they're receiving grades and feedback, for specific educational goals. And so this is not Carmen, but it will interact with Carmen. It's not LinkedIn, so it's not a social media site where students are going to be sharing their accomplishments and their outputs, right? It may help them to think about how they want to present themselves in that context, but this is not like LinkedIn, and it's not a personal website. So it's not a place where they can make a personal marketing pitch, for grad school or a job, but it may help them prepare to do that. So again, it's this space for reflection, because reflection has many, many benefits. And so the e-portfolio is going to be introduced in launch, and students will have, we as instructors of launch are going to be training and supporting students. Part of launch is setting up their e-portfolio, learning how to do that. So the launch team is going to be doing that with students. And then we are currently actively working with partners through the university and other course experiences and co-curricular experiences to support students being able to continue to contribute to their e-portfolio as they move through their career. So this is not something that advisors are going to be expected to do. I want to make that clear. This is not something that we're going to ask advisors to contribute on. It's good that you're aware of it, but that is something that we are working on. And then in reflection, we are going to be doing quite a bit in the reflection seminar. Again, much of that work is going to be done in the context of the e-portfolio, where students can really think about what are the goals of the gen ed, right? What are our learning objectives that we wanted for students? And how do the experiences that they've had relate to those goals? And reflection is really, really important. And we personally need to take space in our lives for reflection, right? It asks us, when we ask people to reflect, we're asking them to describe our work, their work, their learning, how we've changed and evolved, how it might relate to our future. I've worked with many instructors on teaching portfolios, right? How have you grown as an instructor? What are your goals for teaching, and how does the work that you do relate to, to your practice? We're asked to do this as professionals, right? In our performance reviews, we're asked to do this summer reflection about our work. And we're asked to talk about that in the context of our goals. So reflection is just pausing, taking a moment to think about, sort through our emotions, our experiences, our reactions, and to make meaning of that for in this case, for goals. So that's the function of reflection in general. And that is what we hope the experience will be for our students. In terms of the specific objectives that we have for reflection, again, metacognition. One of my colleagues described the Bookends as a giant metacognitive hug for Ohio State students. And so we're going to give them this metacognitive push, this launch at the beginning, and give them some space to reflect on their learning at the end. Reflect on their developing academic motivations, their identities, as how their identities have evolved and changed, and to critically think about their experiences as engaged citizens and leaders with these questions, that have come up in the Bookends. Focusing on intercultural competence, an awareness of what that is, and maybe how the experience that they've had has addressed their awareness and their appreciation, their value, and their competence as global citizens. So we're working with a team of faculty who are also experts in this domain to help enrich this part of the reflection seminar. And then, as a psychologist, this speaks to my heart, their ongoing personal growth and development and their well-being. So to really think about, what does it mean to be healthy and well? And do you have the skills? Do you know how to maintain that in your future life and career, which I think is so important. We've learned some lessons about that, haven't we, in the pandemic? So that's a big piece of this reflection as well. So I feel that I'm just going to take a moment and pause. Reflection's not on the books yet. What I will say is that we do have an e-portfolio tool that has been evaluated. A recommendation has been made. It is in the final stages of those technical approvals, but we anticipate that it will be able to tell you very soon what that will be. And certainly it's going to be an enterprise level tool that is intended for use in the gen ed, but any students will have access to it. And that should be coming very, very soon. Again, we're building and embedding lots of support for students and instructors in the context of launch and in the context of reflection, which is where that work will happen. So students should be taking reflection as they approach the end of their career. And we should be seeing those on the books, not this coming year, but most likely the year after. So some next steps for the Bookends. I am currently scheduling those sections. You're going to see those appearing in SIS very soon. we're already starting to build our team of instructors. So I'm very excited to be working with a lot of new faces, teaching this class, and some of my colleagues and my established colleagues and good friends. We're going to be telling you more about this e-portfolio, which is a beautiful resource for students. I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity for them. And we're going to get those final approvals taken care of on that reflection seminar, and you'll be hearing more of the details on that too. So I just want to thank you for your time. Like I said, I'm so thrilled to be part of this course and this experience for students. I'm dedicated to supporting our students in this transition, and you as well, as these bookends take shape. And I am happy to keep answering questions that you have.